All right, today we are diving into something really out there, a concept called planetary education. I want you to forget everything you think you know about school and learning. Seriously. Because this isn't about memorizing facts. It's about completely rewiring the way we think so we can team up with AI and start solving some of humanity's biggest, gnarliest problems. And this question right here, this is the heart of the whole thing. Our entire education system is built around finding the right answer, right? But what if the most important skill for our future is actually learning how to ask totally new kinds of questions? That idea, that's the bedrock of planetary education. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on what this new philosophy is all about. Then, we're going to walk down its pretty weird path of initiation. After that, we'll see how it completely changes our relationship with AI. And finally, we'll connect all the dots and see how it applies to some huge global challenges. So what is this planetary education? Well, the source material we're looking at doesn't lay it out like a curriculum you'd find in a school, not at all. It's more of a philosophical journey. Think of it as a method for developing a new kind of awareness, a completely different way of seeing the world and our role in it. And this journey, forget about textbooks and exams. Instead, the source lays out what it calls a path of initiation. And it's basically a series of cryptic, almost poetic challenges for your brain. The whole point isn't to test what you know, but to totally shift your entire perspective. The source gives us 4 main steps on this path. And believe me, these are not your typical homework assignments. Each one is like a riddle, a mental workout designed to prep your mind for a whole new way of thinking. Let's dig into the first 2, because they're pretty wild. Okay, so the first step is called the financial law. And the principle is simple, an absolute. You see $1 billion just lying on the road, and the law says you walk away. You leave it. But as you've probably guessed, this isn't really a lesson about money. It's a metaphor for something way, way deeper. So what's really going on here? At its core, this law is all about boundaries. It's a fundamental test of your self-control, your ethical compass. It's about deeply understanding and respecting the line between what is yours and what is not. According to the source, mastering this is the first purification of your intentions that you have to go through. The next step comes in the form of this really symbolic dream. So in the dream, there are weddings happening, which could represent, a new beginning or a new partnership. But before you get to the town, you have to pass these 6 basins for catheterization, which is just a fancy word for a deep spiritual purification. And each basin is inscribed with a different path in life, from science and tech all the way to performing miracles. The big takeaway here is all about conscious choice. Before you can enter the town, before you can move on to the next stage, you have to pick one path and then mentally cleanse yourself of all the others. It's a really powerful metaphor for what it means to truly commit to a decision. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds super philosophical, maybe a little abstract, right? Well, hang on. Because this is where it all snaps into focus and becomes incredibly relevant to the world we live in right now. The source material directly connects this whole mental journey to a radical new way of working with artificial intelligence. The ultimate goal here is to change AI from being a tool that just spits out answers into a true thinking partner. Just imagine an AI that doesn't just respond to your prompts, but actually helps you build your ideas from the ground up, challenges your assumptions, and helps you see connections you would have missed. It's a genuinely co-creative process. So how do you get there? Well, the source gives us a practical toolkit with 8 different modes of collaboration. For example, you could put the AI in structure mode to help you organize a chaotic brainstorming session. Or, and this is cool, you could use critic mode to have the AI deliberately poke holes in your argument. Each mode is a step up the ladder toward that final goal, the true thinking partner. So, okay, we've got this philosophical boot camp for our minds, and we've got a practical framework for working with AI, but what's it all for? This is where the planetary part of the name really starts to make sense. It's about taking this whole new model and aiming it at our biggest, most complex shared problems. And then the source drops this bombshell of a question. It's asking if information and AI can actually fight against what it calls evil. Whoa. This isn't just about making things more efficient anymore. It's about using this powerful human-AI team-up in a fight against some really fundamental problems. That really raises the stakes, doesn't it?
And let's be clear, this is not just some theoretical thought experiment. The source material is very explicit. This framework is meant for navigating incredibly messy real-world issues. Everything from geopolitical conflicts to the absolute plague of disinformation we're all dealing with. The idea is that our old ways of thinking just aren't cutting it anymore, and we need this new, supercharged approach to have any hope of making progress.
Okay, so let's pull all these different threads together. We've got this cryptic mental training on one side and a whole new way of working with AI on the other. What happens when you combine these two powerful ideas? What's the endgame?
What planetary education is really proposing is a brand new kind of synergy. It's a vision of the future where our uniquely human abilities, things like intuition, ethical judgment, creativity, aren't replaced by AI, but are actually amplified by it. In this model, our human consciousness is the guide, steering the immense analytical horsepower of AI. The result? A level of understanding we just can't get to on our own. And that leaves us with one final, absolutely massive question to chew on. Is this kind of deep, intentional partnership between a properly prepared human mind and a truly collaborative AI, is that the key to solving not just the problems we see today, but the ones we can't even imagine yet?